Book of Heaven, Volume 11. 2 June to 12 August 1912. Page 22–27. June 2, 1912. Only the things which are extraneous to Jesus separate the soul from Jesus. Continuing in my usual state, I was lamenting to my Jesus for his privations, and Jesus told me, "My daughter, when there is nothing extraneous or that doesn't belong to me within the soul, there cannot be separation between myself and the soul. Moreover, I tell you that if there is no thought, affection, desire or heartbeat which is not mine, I either keep the soul with me in heaven, or I remain with her on earth. If you don't sense this in yourself, why do you fear that I may separate myself from you?" June 9, 1912. One who does the will of God and lives in his volition is not subject to death nor to judgment. His life is eternal. Feeling a little in suffering, I was saying to my always adorable Jesus, "When will you take me with you? Please hurry, O Jesus, let death cut this life of mine and let me reunite with you in heaven." And Jesus, "My daughter, for the soul who does my will and lives in my volition there is no death. Death is for one who does not do my will, because he has to die to many things, to himself, to passions and to the earth. But one who lives in my will has nothing left to die for. He is already used to living in heaven. For him, death is nothing other than setting down his remains, as one would remove the clothes of a poor one to wear the garments of a king, in order to leave exile and reach the fatherland. The soul who lives in my will is not subject to death and receives no judgment. His life is eternal. All that death had to do, love did in advance, and my will reordered him completely in me, so that I have nothing for which to judge him. Therefore, remain in my will and, when you least expect it, you will find yourself in my will in heaven. June 28, 1912. The soul who lives in the divine will is a heaven in which Jesus is the sun and his virtues are the stars. Continuing in my usual state, blessed Jesus came for a little while and told me, "My daughter, the soul who does my will is heaven, but heaven without sun and without stars, because I am the sun, and the stars which embellish this heaven are my own virtues. How beautiful this heaven, such as to enamor whomever can know it. I remain enamored even more, placing myself like a sun in the center of this heaven, flashing on it continuously new light, new love and new graces. How beautiful, this heaven, if the sun shines. That is, when I manifest myself. I caress the soul, I fill her with my charisms, I hug her and, touched by her love, I faint and rest in her. All the saints gather around me while I rest. They remain surprised in watching this heaven in which I am the sun, and are ecstatic because of this prodigious portent. Neither on earth nor in heaven could one ever find a thing more beautiful and more delightful for me and for all. How beautiful, this heaven, if the sun hides. That is, when I deprive her of me. Oh, how the harmony of the stars can be admired. The air of this heaven is not subject to clouds, showers or storms, because the sun is hidden in the center of the soul, and its heat is so burning that it destroys clouds, showers and storms. The air of this heaven is always calm, serene and sweet-smelling. The most shining stars are perennial peace and never-ending love. Whether the soul is hidden in the sun, and the stars disappear, or the sun is hidden within her, when the harmony of the stars is revealed, she is beautiful in every way. This heaven is my happiness, my rest, my love, my paradise. July 4, 1912. In the divine will the soul must die to everything, like in a tomb, closed by love, in order to rise again to a divine life. By thinking about herself, the soul escapes from the divine life. This morning, after communion, I was saying to my always adorable Jesus, "To what a state I reduced myself. It seems that everything runs away from me, suffering, virtues, everything." And Jesus, "My daughter, what's this? Do you want to waste time? Do you want to get out of your nothingness? Stay in your place, in your nothingness, so that the all may keep its place in you. But know that you must die completely in my will, to the suffering, to the virtues, to everything. My will must be the tomb of the soul. Just as nature is consumed in the tomb to the extent of disappearing completely, and by that consummation it will rise again to a new and more beautiful life, in the same way the soul, buried in my will as if inside a tomb, will die to the suffering, to her virtues, to her spiritual goods, and will rise again in everything to divine life. Ah, my daughter, it seems that you want to imitate the mundane, who tend to what is temporal, and ends, while they don't consider what is eternal. My beloved, why don't you want to learn to live only in my volition? Why don't you want to live the life of heaven while still being on earth? My will is love, the one that never dies. Therefore my will must be your sepulchre, and love is the lid which has to lock you and seal you in, giving you no more hope of getting out. Then, every thought that regards oneself, even about virtues, is always gain for oneself and runs away from the divine life. While if the soul thinks only about me and what regards me, she takes the divine life in herself and, taking the divine life, she escapes the human life, taking all possible goods. Have we understood each other? July 19, 1912. The attention to the teachings of Jesus makes our breath of love reach him even through others. Love must be only for Jesus. This morning, as I was in my usual state, blessed Jesus came and told me, "My daughter, I feel your breath and I feel refreshed by it. By just being close to you, your breath gives me refreshment. Even when others talk about the things that you said for their own good, I feel your breath through them and I am pleased. So, my relief is repeated, and I say, even through others, my daughter sends me her refreshment, because if she hadn't been attentive in listening to me, she could not have done any good for others. Therefore, she is still the one who sends me this good. So, I love you even more and I feel compelled to come and converse with you." Then he added, "True love must stand alone. When it leans on something else, even a holy thing or a spiritual person, it gives me nausea and, instead of content, I feel embittered and bothered. Only when love is alone can I take control and do with the soul whatever I want. This is the nature of true love. But when it does not stand alone, one thing can be done, something else cannot. It is a hindered command, which does not give full freedom. Therefore, love feels uncomfortable and constrained." July 23, 1912. Once Jesus has made a perfect conquest of the heart of the creature, he exercises his own right in full freedom, making her rise again or operate, but it's always love. Finding myself with my always adorable Jesus, I was lamenting to him because, in addition to his privations, I also felt my poor heart insensitive, cold and indifferent to everything, as if it no longer had a life. How pitiful my state is! And even so, I am unable to cry over my misfortune. Since I don't know how to feel sorry for myself, you, please, have compassion for this heart, which you loved so much, and which you promised so much to receive. And Jesus, my daughter, do not trouble yourself for something that does not deserve any affliction. Instead of feeling compassion for your lamentations and for your heart, I am pleased and I tell you, rejoice with me, because I have made a perfect purchase of your heart. Since you no longer feel anything of your own contentments and of the life of your heart, I alone come and enjoy your contentment and your life. You must know that when you do not feel anything from your heart, I pull your heart into my heart and I keep it there, resting in sweet sleep, while I enjoy it. If you feel it, then the enjoyment is together. If you let me do, after I have given you rest in my heart and enjoyed in you, I will come to rest within you and I will make you enjoy the contentments of my heart. Ah, my daughter, this was necessary for you, for me and for the world. For you, if you had been awake, you would have suffered very much in seeing the chastisements that I am sending now, and the others that I will send. Therefore, it is necessary to make you content, not to make you suffer greatly. It is necessary for me. How much I would have suffered, had I not made you content, had I not conceded what you would have wanted, since you would not permit me to send chastisements. This is why it was necessary to put you to sleep. In certain sad times of necessity and chastisements, it is necessary to choose ways in the middle in order to be less unhappy. It is necessary for the world, if I wanted to pour myself out with you and make you suffer, as I once made you suffer, therefore making you content by saving the world from the chastisements. Faith, religion and salvation would be even more banned by the world, especially considering the attitude of the souls during these times. Ah, my daughter, let me do, whether I have to keep you awake or asleep. Didn't you tell me to make of you whatever I wanted? Do you perhaps want to withdraw your word? And but, oh Jesus, it is rather that I fear that I've become bad and, because of this, I feel in such a state. And Jesus, listen, my daughter. Is it perhaps that some thought, affection or desire which is not mine entered into you? If this were the case, you should fear me, but if this is not, it's a sign that I keep your heart within me and that I make it sleep. The time will come when I will wake it up. Then you will see that you will take the attitude of before, and since you will have rested, this attitude will be greater. Then he added, I make souls of all kinds. I do the ones sleepy with love, the ignorant of love, the crazy of love, the erudite of love. But do you know what interests me the most? That all be love. I don't so much as look at the rest, which is not love.